What would you risk to save a child who isn't yours? That's the question Amara Hayes faces on a Tuesday night in November, kneeling on rain-slicked pavement outside a 24-hour diner in Seoul. The boy's hand is ice cold. She feels it through the threadbare sleeve of his jacket as her fingers find his wrist, checking his pulse. Medical training kicks in automatically, heart rate elevated but steady, skin clammy from the rain. 6 years old, maybe 7. His eyes are too watchful for a child, dark, unblinking, tracking every movement on the street like he's memorizing escape routes. Like he's learned to map danger before it finds him. "Hey, sweetheart, you lost?" Her voice is gentle, careful not to startle. She stays low, at his eye level, hands visible, non-threatening. He doesn't answer, just stares at her with the kind of silence that comes from practice, from learning that speaking up gets you hurt. That trust is a luxury children like him can't afford. Amara recognizes that silence. She wore it herself once, at 16, when her mother's cancer turned their Atlanta apartment into a hospice and every social worker who knocked on the door threatened to separate them. She learned to be small, quiet, invisible enough to survive. The neon sign above them flickers. Rosie's Diner, open 24 hours, casting pink light across his hollow cheeks. The rain has plastered his dark hair to his forehead, making him look even smaller, more fragile. That's when Amara sees it. The birthmark. Right at the base of his neck, just visible above his collar where the cheap jacket has shifted. Shaped like a bird in flight, or a dragon. Something intricate and deliberate, almost geometric in its precision. Something that looks less like a birthmark and more like a brand. Like something someone put there on purpose. Amara's shift ended an hour ago. Her feet ache from 8 hours on linoleum floors. She should be home, studying for her nursing certification exam. The test is in 3 weeks, and she's barely passed the practice questions. Should be getting sleep before her morning anatomy class. Should be worrying about her own survival in a city where she barely speaks the language and her student visa hangs by a thread. But the way this boy holds himself, so rigid, so prepared for pain, shoulders hunched like he's bracing for a blow. It cuts straight through her exhaustion, through her carefully constructed walls of self-preservation. Someone didn't just lose this child. Someone left him here on purpose. Set him down like unwanted luggage and walked away. "Where's your mama? Your family?" He shakes his head once. Final, like he's answered this question before and learned it doesn't help. Behind them, a car slows. Black sedan with tinted windows, engine purring like a predator. Wrong neighborhood for that kind of car. Wrong time of night for that kind of attention. Amara's instincts flare. The ones honed in Atlanta emergency rooms at 3 a.m. The ones that learned to sense violence before it arrived. The boy's small body goes rigid. His fingers clutch the hem of her apron with desperate strength. His breathing quickens, shallow, rapid. Panic response. The sedan doesn't stop. Just rolls past with deliberate slowness, the driver's window cracked just enough for someone inside to see them clearly, to mark them, to remember. When the taillights disappear around the corner, Amara realizes she's been holding her breath. Her heart hammers against her ribs. The boy finally speaks. His voice barely rises above a whisper, but it carries the weight of someone much older. Someone who's learned that hope is dangerous. "Can I stay with you?" 4 words. A lifetime of need compressed into 4 simple words. Amara looks at him, really looks. At the exhaustion carved into his young face, dark circles under eyes that should be bright with childhood. At the way he's shivering despite the jacket that's 2 sizes too big, sleeves hanging past his fingertips. At the birthmark that catches the neon light like it's alive, pulsing with significance she doesn't yet understand. Every instinct she has screams, this is dangerous. This child is someone's problem, someone's weapon, someone's target. Taking him in means inviting whatever darkness follows him straight to her door. But Amara Hayes grew up in Atlanta's roughest neighborhood. She knows what it looks like when a child has nowhere else to turn. She spent 2 years watching her mother die by inches, learning that sometimes the right choice is also the terrifying choice, and she's never been good at walking away from people who need her, even when staying means risking everything. Yeah, baby, you can stay. She doesn't know his name yet, doesn't know that in 72 hours, men in expensive suits will track her down. Doesn't know that the mark on his neck is a family crest, a signature connecting him to one of Seoul's most powerful criminal organizations. All she knows right now is this. He's cold, he's scared, and he's alone. And that's enough. The boy, Noah, he'll tell her 3 days from now, follows her through rain-washed streets. His small hand finds hers in the dark. His grip is surprisingly strong, like he's holding on to the only lifeline he's ever been offered. And across the city, in a glass tower overlooking the Han River, a man named Kang Do-hyun sits in darkness, staring at a photograph on his desk. A boy, 6 years old, with a birthmark shaped exactly like the crest Do-hyun was born with. His son. The son he never knew existed. 72 hours earlier, Do-hyun's life was exactly as he designed it. His office sits on the 42nd floor of the Kang building, wrapped in glass that reflects Seoul's skyline. A kingdom built on power, influence, and the kind of money that comes with steep prices. He doesn't look at the view anymore. The glittering city below is just territory now. Red zones and green zones, assets and liabilities. Sir? His second-in-command, Min-jae, enters without knocking, one of the few people with that privilege. The shipment cleared customs. The waterfront's secured. Do-hyun nods, eyes fixed on his computer screen. Numbers, transactions, another quarter of record profits from their legitimate security consulting firm, the front that allows the family business to operate in shadows. 32 years old, unmarried, no attachments, no vulnerabilities. That's the first rule his father taught him. Power requires isolation. Love is a weapon your enemies will use to destroy you. His mother learned that lesson the hard way. She loved the wrong man, Do-hyun's father's business partner, and died in a car accident that everyone knew wasn't an accident. Do-hyun was 12, old enough to understand, old enough to watch his father become a ghost of himself before the heart attack took him 5 years later. So Do-hyun built walls, perfected control, became the heir the Kang family needed, cold, calculating, untouchable, and utterly alone. One more thing. Min-jae hesitates, which is unusual. In 5 years of working together, Do-hyun has rarely seen him uncertain. There's been talk. A boy showed up in Dongdaemun 3 months ago. Street kid, probably 6 or 7. Some diner worker took him in. He's got a mark on his neck. Do-hyun's fingers pause over the keyboard. Something in Min-jae's tone, careful, measured, sets off alarms. What kind of mark? The family crest. Born into his skin, not tattooed. I had it verified by 3 separate sources. Min-jae slides a grainy photograph across the desk, his movements deliberate. Could be nothing. Could be someone's attempt at a con. Wouldn't be the first time someone tried to claim family connection for protection or money. But the mark looks genuine. And the timing? Do-hyun picks up the photo with steady hands, though something cold unfurls in his chest. Everything stops. The boy in the image is thin, with hollow cheeks that speak of hunger and watchful eyes that have seen too much. But it's the mark on his neck that makes Do-hyun's breath catch in his throat. Not painted, not inked, natural, raised slightly from the skin, the way birthmarks are. The exact pattern that Do-hyun himself was born with on his shoulder blade. An intricate design that looks like a bird mid-flight, wings spread, talons extended. The exact pattern that appears once every 3 generations in the Kang bloodline. That marked his grandfather. That marked him. That marks this child. His mind spirals backward, grasping for memories through fog. 7 years ago. A business dinner with his cousin Jin-woo and several potential investors. High-stakes negotiations over expensive whiskey, drinks, laughter, toasts to future success. Then nothing, just blank space where memory should be, a void that swallowed 12 hours of his life. He woke up in a hotel room with a splitting headache that felt like his skull was cracking open, disoriented, sick. No recollection of the previous 12 hours, no memory of how he got there. There'd been a woman. He remembered fragments, like shattered glass reflecting moments. Her perfume, something floral and sweet. The sound of her crying, broken sobs that seemed to come from far away. The weight of her hand in his, cold and trembling. Then she was gone, vanished like smoke. Jin-woo said it was too much alcohol, laughed it off, said Do-hyun needed to be more careful, that he couldn't afford to lose control like that. They never spoke of it again, and Do-hyun buried the incident under layers of work and discipline. But what if it wasn't just alcohol? What if Jin-woo orchestrated something darker? A setup, a deliberate drugging, a scandal waiting to be weaponized when the family council met to choose their next leader. Jin-woo had always been ambitious, always positioning himself as the alternative to Do-hyun's leadership. And now, this. A boy with the family mark, living with a stranger in Dongdaemun, unprotected, unacknowledged, a target. Find him. Do-hyun's voice comes out rougher than intended. Find the woman he's with. I want surveillance, background checks, everything, and do it quietly. Understood. Min-jae bows and leaves. Do-hyun sits alone in his glass tower, staring at the photograph of a boy who might be his blood. For the first time in years, Kang Do-hyun feels something pierce through the numbness. Terror. Because if this boy is his son, everything Do-hyun built to protect himself, all those walls, all that isolation, just became worthless. A child is the ultimate vulnerability. And in Do-hyun's world, vulnerabilities get people killed. Have you ever discovered a truth that changed everything you thought you knew? If this story's already pulling at your heart, hit subscribe. We're just getting started. Amara names him Noah after the rain that brought them together. 3 months pass. Noah doesn't talk much about his past, and Amara doesn't push. Some wounds need time before they can be touched. Some stories need to be told when the teller is ready, not when the listener is curious. He helps her fold laundry in their cramped apartment, careful with each piece like it matters. Draws pictures of dragons at the kitchen table while she studies for her certification exam, his tongue poking out in concentration. Sleeps curled against her side every night like he's afraid she'll vanish, his small hand fisted in her shirt even in sleep. Slowly, carefully, he starts to relax, to smile, to act like the 6-year-old he is instead of the war-weary soldier he'd become. She starts to believe they might be safe, that whoever left him has moved on, that they can build something resembling normal in this tiny apartment with its leaking faucet and temperamental heater. Then the men come. It's a Thursday night, the kind of quiet shift where minutes drag like hours. The diner's nearly empty, just 2 truckers at the counter nursing coffee that's gone cold, a young couple sharing fries in the back booth, whispering and laughing in the way new love demands. Amara wipes down tables with methodical efficiency, mentally calculating how many more shifts she needs before she can afford new shoes for Noah. His current pair has holes in the soles, and winter's coming fast. Noah sits in his usual corner booth, coloring with the concentration of an artist. He's drawing another dragon. They're always dragons now, fierce and protective. Rosie, the 60-something owner with a grandmother's soft heart and a restaurateur's sharp business sense, lets him stay during Amara's late shifts. It's safer than leaving a 6-year-old home alone, and Noah's quiet, well-behaved. He doesn't make trouble. The door chimes. That's normal. People coming and going, that's the nature of a 24-hour diner. But these men aren't normal. 3 of them walk in. Expensive suits that don't belong in this working-class neighborhood, tailored perfectly. Shoes that probably cost more than Amara makes in a month. They don't sit, just stand near the entrance, scanning the room with the kind of precision that makes Amara's nursing instincts kick in, the ones she developed working hospital ERs at 3 in the morning, the ones that learned to spot danger before it reached the trauma bay. These men are dangerous. Not violent yet, but capable. Predators assessing prey. Her eyes find Noah immediately. He's frozen, crayons suspended above his coloring book, staring at the men with recognition in his eyes that turns her blood to ice. He knows them, or knows men like them. Evening. The tallest man steps forward. Sharp features, cold smile that doesn't reach his eyes. Mid-30s, maybe. Scar along his jawline, faded but visible. Coffee, black. Amara pours it with steady hands, years of practice keeping her movements smooth despite the adrenaline flooding her system. She positions herself between him and Noah's booth, subtle but deliberate. Anything else? Information, maybe. His gaze slides past her, fixing on Noah with predatory focus. Cute kid. He yours? The lie comes automatic, protective. Yes. Funny. His smile sharpens like a blade. We heard a boy matching his description went missing from Gangnam 3 months back. Same age, same build. Real distinctive birthmark on his neck. He tilts his head, studying her with calculating eyes. Looks almost like the old family crests. You know the ones I'm talking about? The kind that mark bloodlines? The kind that make a child valuable to certain organizations? Amara's pulse hammers against her throat. She keeps her voice level, professional, giving nothing away. I don't know what you mean. No? He sips the coffee slowly, deliberately, never breaking eye contact. See, there are people who'd pay good money for information about a boy like that. People who don't appreciate loose ends. People who get real upset when someone tries to hide what belongs to them. He sets the cup down with careful precision. And people who reward those who help reunite families. Generous rewards. Rosie emerges from the kitchen, wooden spoon in hand like a weapon. You boys order food or find somewhere else to loiter. This ain't a social club. The men exchange glances. Some silent communication passes between them. The tall one sets down his cup with deliberate care, drops a $100 bill on the counter, 20 times what the coffee costs. Our mistake. You have a good night now. They leave. The bell chimes behind them like a death knell. Amara doesn't exhale until their car pulls away from the curb. Her hands shake as she unties her apron. Baby, pack your crayons. We're going home. Noah's already moving, shoving his coloring book into his backpack with the efficiency of a child who's learned to run. Are they coming back? Amara crouches down to his level, cups his face in her hands. His skin is cold. I won't let anyone hurt you. Do you understand? No matter who they are or what they want, you're safe with me. She means it, even if she doesn't know how to make it true. They walk home through dark streets. Amara keeps Noah close, one hand on his shoulder. Her mind races with questions she can't answer. Who is he, really? What does that birthmark mean? And who's willing to threaten a diner worker over a 6-year-old boy? But underneath the questions, one truth burns clear. Noah is hers now. She chose him. And Amara Hayes doesn't abandon the people she loves. Not for threats, not for danger, not for anything. The alley behind their apartment building reeks of garbage and rain. Amara's almost to the back stairs when she sees him, a figure in shadow, blocking the only exit, tall, broad-shouldered, wearing a coat that probably costs more than 3 months of her rent. She pushes Noah behind her immediately. "Get away from us! I'm not here to hurt you." The man steps into the glow of the streetlight. Amara's breath catches. He's striking in a way that seems almost cruel. Sharp jawline, high cheekbones, eyes so dark they look black. Everything about him screams power, danger, control. But there's something else there too. Something fractured beneath the surface, like a statue with cracks running through its foundation. "My name is Kang Do-hyun." He says it like it should mean something. "I need to talk to you about Noah." "How do you know his name?" Amara's voice shakes with fury, not fear. She's had enough of strange men and veiled threats. "Who are you?" "His father." The words hit like a physical blow. Amara stares at him. At this stranger with his expensive coat and hollow eyes. At the man claiming her Noah. "You're lying." But even as she says it, she sees the resemblance. Same bone structure, same serious expression, same way of holding perfectly still, like movement costs too much. "I didn't know he existed until 4 days ago." Do-hyun's composure cracks slightly. "Someone sent me a photograph, a boy with the family birthmark. I've spent the last 96 hours confirming what I already knew the moment I saw it." "If you're his father, why was he alone? Why was he terrified?" Amara steps forward, putting herself fully between Do-hyun and Noah. Real parents don't abandon their children. "I didn't abandon him. I didn't know about him." Do-hyun's jaw tightens. 7 years ago, I was drugged, set up. There was a woman, Ji-eun. I don't remember most of that night, just fragments. She disappeared before I could find her, before I knew she was pregnant. Convenient story. It's the truth. His voice drops, raw with something that might be pain. Ji-eun died 6 months ago. Car accident. Noah was put into the system. He ran away from his 3rd foster home and ended up... Do-hyun's eyes find Noah, peeking out from behind Amara's legs. "Here, with you." Amara's medical training kicks in, assessing the situation. His body language matches his words. Open palms, no aggressive posture. But his eyes, there's desperation there, and grief. "Even if I believe you," she says carefully, "that doesn't give you rights. Noah doesn't know you. He doesn't want... I'm not here to take him." Do-hyun cuts her off. "I'm here to warn you. My family, my world, it's dangerous. There are people who will use Noah to hurt me. People who already know he exists. Those men at the diner? They're just the beginning." Amara's blood runs cold. "What people?" "My cousin, rival organizations, anyone who wants leverage against me." He runs a hand through his hair, the first uncontrolled gesture she's seen from him. "Noah's birthmark marks him as Kang family, as my heir. That makes him valuable. And in my world, valuable things get stolen or destroyed." "Then stay away." Amara's voice hardens. "If you being near him puts him in danger, it's too late for that. They already know. The only question now is whether you trust me to protect him, or whether you try to run and hope they don't find you first." Behind Amara, Noah's small voice breaks the standoff. "Mama?" She turns. He's looking at Do-hyun with those 2 wise eyes, studying him with the intensity of a child who's learned to read adults for survival. Do-hyun stares back, and Amara watches something fundamental shift in his expression. The mask cracks wider, reveals the man underneath, terrified, desperate, clinging to control by his fingernails. Please. The word sounds foreign in Do-hyun's mouth, like he's never said it before. Let me help. Let me keep you both safe. Amara wants to refuse, wants to grab Noah and run and never look back. But those men at the diner found them, which means running might not be enough. And there's something in Do-hyun's eyes when he looks at Noah. Not ownership, not calculation, recognition. Like he's seeing something precious he thought was lost forever. 7 days, Amara hears herself say. You have 7 days to prove you're not another threat in his life. After that, we decide. Together. Do-hyun's shoulders drop slightly. Relief, maybe. 7 days. Thank you. He walks away, melting back into shadows. Amara stands in the alley, holding Noah close, and wonders if she just made the best decision of her life. Or the worst. Do-hyun's mansion sits in Seoul's wealthiest district, wrapped in walls and security cameras and the kind of silence that comes from isolation. Amara holds Noah's hand as they walk through rooms filled with art worth more than she'll earn in her lifetime. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, beauty that feels empty. This way. Do-hyun leads them to a sitting room. Large windows overlook a private garden where cherry blossoms drift like snow. It's breathtaking. It's a cage. Noah presses against Amara's leg as they sit. She pulls him into her lap, anchoring them both. Do-hyun stands by the window, backlit and tense. I need to tell you about Noah's mother, about what really happened. Amara braces herself. I'm listening. Her name was Lee Ji-eun. She worked in pharmaceuticals, one of the companies my family has holdings in. 7 years ago, my cousin Jin Woo arranged a business dinner. Potential investors. High stakes. Do-hyun's hands curl into fists. I remember the first 2 drinks. Then nothing. Blank. When I woke up 14 hours later, I was in a hotel room. Ji-eun was there. She was crying. Told me we'd both been drugged. By your cousin, Amara says flatly. Yes. The word comes out like broken glass. Jin Woo wanted leverage, a scandal he could use when it came time to choose the family's next leader. But Ji-eun disappeared before he could weaponize it, went into hiding. I tried to find her, but she'd gone completely underground. She was protecting Noah, Amara realizes. From your family. From all of it. The violence, the power struggles. She knew what it meant to be connected to us. Do-hyun finally turns from the window. His face is ravaged. She raised Noah alone for 5 years, worked 3 jobs, kept him safe. Then last winter, her car was forced off the road. She died on impact. Amara's arms tighten around Noah. He's too still, absorbing every word. After she died, Noah entered the foster system, but the birthmark. Do-hyun's voice cracks. People noticed, asked questions, so he ran, learned to hide, until 3 months ago, when you found him. Silence falls heavy between them. Noah shifts in Amara's lap. His voice is barely audible. Are you my dad? Do-hyun crosses the room and kneels in front of them. Up close, the resemblance is undeniable. Same eyes, same serious mouth. Yes, Do-hyun whispers. I'm your father, and I'm so sorry. Sorry I wasn't there. Sorry I didn't protect your mother. Sorry you spent 6 years thinking you weren't wanted. Noah studies him with devastating intensity. Then, slowly, He reaches out and touches Do-hyun's face. A child's gesture, curious and trusting and impossibly brave. Do-hyun closes his eyes. A tear escapes, tracking down his cheek. Amara watches this powerful man crumble under the weight of his own absence. And despite everything, despite the danger, despite the mafia connections, despite every rational reason to stay guarded, she feels something shift in her chest. He's not just a criminal. He's a father who lost his son before he ever had him. A man trying to piece together something he didn't know was broken. Noah deserves better than this world you live in, Amara says quietly. Better than danger and secrets and violence. I know. Do-hyun opens his eyes, meeting her gaze. That's why I need to change it. Restructure the family. Make it something Noah can actually be proud of. You think you can just reform a criminal organization? I don't know, but I have to try. His voice strengthens. Because the alternative is watching my son grow up afraid, or worse, not growing up at all. It's naive, impossible, inspirational in its sheer audacity. But watching Do-hyun look at Noah, really see him, not as a vulnerability or a political piece, but as a child who needs a father, Amara thinks maybe impossible isn't the same as hopeless. Maybe people can change. Maybe love is stronger than power. Maybe monsters can learn to be men. 7 days, she reminds him. Her voice is softer now. Prove it. Do-hyun nods. I will. Noah yawns against Amara's shoulder, exhausted by revelations he's too young to fully understand. Come on, baby, Amara murmurs. Let's get you to bed. As she carries Noah to the guest room Do-hyun prepared, she catches her reflection in a gilded mirror and wonders when, exactly, she started hoping Do-hyun would succeed. The next 6 days unfold like a fever dream. Do-hyun teaches Noah chess in the garden, patient and gentle. He explains each piece, each strategy, without talking down, like Noah's intelligence matters. This one's the queen, Do-hyun says, holding up the carved piece. Strongest on the board. Noah examines it thoughtfully. Like Mama. Do-hyun's gaze finds Amara watching from the doorway. Something warm flickers in his expression. Yes, exactly like your mama. Later, Amara insists on cooking dinner. The kitchen staff watches with barely concealed horror as she takes over their domain, but Do-hyun dismisses them. Can you help? Amara asks, handing him vegetables. He's terrible at it. Too precise, too controlled. He cuts carrots like he's defusing a bomb. Relax, Amara laughs. It's just food, not a business negotiation. I've never cooked before. He sounds almost embarrassed. Staff always handled meals. Well, Noah needs to see you're human. That means messy kitchens and burned rice and... She pauses as he knocks over the oil bottle. Spilled ingredients. Do-hyun stares at the puddle spreading across the counter. Then, unexpectedly, he laughs. It's rusty and uncertain, like he's forgotten how. But it's real. Amara's heart does a dangerous flip. She tells herself it doesn't mean anything, that she's just responding to his effort, not to the way his rare smiles transform his entire face. But she's lying to herself, and she knows it. That evening, after Noah falls asleep, they sit on the terrace. Seoul glitters below like scattered jewels. Tell me about yourself, Do-hyun says. The real you. Amara hesitates, then softened by darkness and proximity. I grew up in Atlanta, moved here for a nursing scholarship. My mom died when I was 16. Cancer. I took care of her for 2 years before the end. Her voice roughens. I learned more about medicine in those 2 years than any textbook could teach me. That's why you helped Noah. I couldn't leave him. I know what it's like, being alone, being scared, feeling like the world's too big and you're too small. She pulls her knees to her chest. I couldn't let him feel that way. Do-hyun is quiet for a long moment. Then, you're extraordinary. I'm just doing what's right. Most people don't. Most people protect themselves first. His voice drops, rough with emotion. But you ran toward danger. For a stranger's child. That's not ordinary, Amara. That's heroic. He's not a stranger anymore. No. Do-hyun's hand finds hers in the darkness. His touch is warm, careful. He's not. Their eyes meet, hold. Amara should pull away, should remember who he is, what he represents. But she doesn't. Instead, she laces her fingers through his and lets herself believe, just for this moment, that a mafia boss and a nursing student and a lost boy could somehow become a family. The attack comes on the 6th night. Amara jolts awake to the sound of shattering glass. Noah's scream. Do-hyun shouting orders. She runs to Noah's room. The window's destroyed. A brick lies on the carpet, note attached with wire. Give him up, or we take him by force. Do-hyun appears in the doorway, blood on his knuckles, rage in his eyes. Pack! Now! We're leaving! What? My cousin found us. Jin-woo. He's making his move. Do-hyun scoops Noah into his arms, wrapping him in a blanket. If we stay, Noah's dead. Terror clears Amara's mind. She grabs clothes, Noah's stuffed rabbit, follows Do-hyun down the back stairs. The mansion's in chaos. Guards running, cars starting outside. Min-jae meets them in the garage. North exit's clear. Go! Do-hyun nods curtly and hands Noah to Amara. Back seat. Get down. Don't move until I say. She obeys. Noah clings to her, sobbing quietly. The car speeds through Seoul's streets. Behind them, headlights follow. Do-hyun drives like he's fighting. Precise. Controlled. Deadly. He takes corners fast enough to make the tires scream. They're gaining, Amara whispers. I know. He meets her eyes in the mirror. Trust me. And she does, completely, irrationally. They lead the chase into Gangnam, bright lights, crowded streets. Do-hyun pulls into an underground parking structure, kills the engine, grabs Noah. This way! They run. Upstairs, through a shopping complex, out into an alley. Behind them, shouts echo. Footsteps closing in. Do-hyun stops at an unmarked door, pounds twice. It opens. An older woman stands there. Gray hair, kind eyes. Hyuna, come in, quickly. They stumble inside. The woman bolts the door behind them. Amara, Noah, this is Ms. Park. She raised me after my mother died. Do-hyun's breathing hard, still holding Noah. We're safe here, for now. Ms. Park brings tea, blankets, speaks soft, soothing words in English and Korean mixed together. Noah finally stops crying, falls asleep against Amara's chest. Do-hyun sits across from them, head in his hands. I'm sorry. His voice is broken. I thought I could protect you. Thought I could contain this. I was wrong. No. Amara's voice is steady, certain. You got us out, kept us safe. For how long? He looks up, desperation raw in his eyes. Jin-woo won't stop. The family won't stop. As long as Noah exists, he threatens their power. A legitimate heir with a claim to leadership. Then we fight back. How? I can't. You're Kang Do-hyun, head of the family. You have power, resources. Amara leans forward, fierce. You can end this. Not without losing everything. Maybe what you had was worth losing. The words hang in the air. Do-hyun stares at Noah, sleeping peacefully for the first time in hours. Then at Amara, this brave woman who refuses to let him give up. And he makes his choice. You're right, he says quietly. Let's end this. The Kang family meeting room is cold, formal. 20 men in suits sit around a long table, watching Do-hyun with varying degrees of suspicion and curiosity. Amara and Noah wait in an adjacent room, watching through one-way glass. Do-hyun stands at the head of the table. No notes, no hesitation. 3 days ago, my cousin Jin-woo orchestrated an attack on my home. He targeted my 6-year-old son with the intent to kill him. Murmurs ripple through the room. 7 years ago, Jin-woo drugged me, set me up with a woman named Lee Ji-yoon. His goal was to create a scandal he could use for leverage. But Ji-yoon disappeared, had my son alone, protected him until her death 6 months ago. Jin-woo leans back in his chair, smirking. You have no proof. I have her medical records showing the drugging, financial transactions tracing back to your accounts, testimony from the hotel staff. Do-hyun slides folders across the table. I have security footage from the night you broke into my home and left a death threat for my child. The smirk dies. Jin-woo wanted Noah dead to eliminate competition, to ensure his path to leadership remained clear. Do-hyun's voice hardens. He was willing to murder a 6-year-old boy to secure power. The council members exchange glances. Some look disgusted, others calculating. But this isn't just about Jin-woo, Do-hyun continues. This is about what we've become. A family built on fear, violence, treating human lives like chess pieces. That's our legacy, one of the elders says. Our strength. It's our weakness. Do-hyun's gaze sweeps the room. I've spent my entire life maintaining this empire, protecting our power. But what's the point? What legacy am I building if it requires my son to grow up afraid? If it means he can never be safe? Sentiment makes you vulnerable, Jin-woo spits. No, isolation makes you vulnerable. Love makes you strong. Do-hyun's voice drops, quiet and certain. I'm restructuring the family, divesting from illegal operations, transitioning to legitimate businesses, security consulting, real estate, technology. Anyone who disagrees can leave with a generous severance. Anyone who stays will help build something better. You'll destroy us, someone says. I'll save us. Do-hyun looks directly at his mentor, the elder who taught him everything. We can be more than criminals. We can be a family that protects instead of destroys, that builds instead of breaks. It starts here, with this choice. Silence fills the room. Then, slowly, his mentor stands. I support this. The boy stays. The family evolves. One by one, the others stand, nod their agreement. Jin-woo is left sitting alone, furious, defeated. You're finished here, Do-hyun tells him. Leave Seoul. If you ever come near my son again, I will end you myself. Jin-woo storms out, slamming the door. The room exhales collectively. Do-hyun's knees nearly buckle, but he holds steady, because in the next room, Amara and Noah are watching, and he refuses to let them see him break. Later, in Ms. Park's apartment, Amara finds Do-hyun on the tiny balcony. He's staring at the city with exhausted eyes. You did it, she says softly. I burned everything my father built. His voice is hollow. No, you transformed it, gave it purpose. She stands beside him. That took more courage than maintaining the status quo ever did. Do-hyun turns to her, searches her face. I don't know how to do this. Be a father. Be good. You think I knew how to be a mother? Amara's smile is gentle. We figure it out. Together. Together. He reaches for her hand. You're staying? Even after everything? Where else would I go? She squeezes his fingers. Noah needs you, and I think... She pauses, gathering courage. I think I might need you too. Do-hyun's breath catches. Amara, I know it's fast. I know it's complicated. You're Mafia. I'm a nursing student trying to save enough for textbooks. We've known each other barely a week. She steps closer. But Noah's already lost so much, and you're trying so hard to be better. How can I walk away from that? You should. I'm dangerous. I'll hurt you. Or you'll protect me, and I'll help you heal. She cups his face. Maybe that's what love is. Taking a chance on someone even when it's terrifying. Do-hyun stares at her. This woman who sees past his monsters to the man underneath. I don't deserve you, he whispers. Stop measuring worth. Start accepting grace. Her smile widens. Now, are you going to kiss me? Or do I have to do everything myself? For the first time in his adult life, Kang Do-hyun laughs. Really laughs, free and unguarded. Then he kisses her. It's soft, careful, a beginning. When they pull apart, Noah's sleepy voice breaks the moment. Mama? Daddy? Can we have pancakes? They turn. Noah stands in the doorway, rubbing his eyes, his stuffed rabbit dangling from one hand. Amara laughs. Do-hyun scoops Noah into his arms. Yeah, buddy, he says, voice thick with emotion. We can have pancakes. They go inside, together. A family forged in fire and love and impossible choices. 6 months pass like seasons shifting. The apartment in Itaewon is small but bright. Sunlight streams through open windows. Plants crowd the sills. Children's drawings cover the refrigerator. Amara hums as she makes breakfast. Pancakes, like she promised. Noah sits at the table, carefully drawing. Not the family crest anymore. Just a dragon. His dragon. One that breathes fire to protect families instead of destroying them. Mama, look. He holds up the picture. It's us. Amara studies it. The dragon has 3 heads. One wears a crown. One wears a stethoscope. One is small, with wide eyes and a bright smile. Her chest tightens. It's beautiful, baby. The door opens. Do-hyun walks in carrying groceries, wearing jeans. Actual jeans, not a suit. His hair's slightly messy. He looks younger, unburdened. Traffic was terrible, he says, then catches himself. I mean, really backed up. Amara grins. 6 months, and he's still working on the language, on leaving the harsh vocabulary behind. It's been slow, difficult. Some family members left rather than embrace the changes. Others stayed, cautiously optimistic. Do-hyun divested from everything illegal, weapons, drugs, protection rackets, and invested in legitimate ventures. The money's cleaner. The conscience is clearer. Daddy! Noah launches himself forward. We're making pancakes! I see that. Do-hyun catches him easily, swings him up. Did you help Mama? I cracked 3 eggs, only one had shells. That's better than my first try. Do-hyun sets him down and meets Amara's eyes across the kitchen. The look between them is warm, steady. Home. After breakfast, they walk to the park. Their Saturday ritual. Noah runs ahead, chasing birds. Do-hyun and Amara follow, hands clasped. The lawyer finalized the paperwork. Do-hyun says quietly, "You're officially Noah's legal guardian, and I'm officially recognized as his father." Amara squeezes his hand. How does it feel? Terrifying, right? Like I don't deserve this much happiness. Stop that. She bumps his shoulder. You've worked for this, earned it. Do-hyun stops walking, turns to face her, pulling a small box from his pocket. Amara's heart stutters. I know it's fast, he says. I know we're still learning each other. But I wake up every day grateful you exist. Grateful you took a chance on me when I didn't deserve it. He opens the box. A simple gold band with a small diamond catches the light. Marry me. Help me be the man I want to become. Build this family with me. Tears blur Amara's vision. Do-hyun! You don't have to answer now. But know that I mean every word. You and Noah, you're my real family. Not blood, or power, or legacy. Just love. And I want to spend the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of that. Amara looks at him. This man who was hollow 6 months ago, who built walls to survive, who learned to tear those walls down for the sake of a child he didn't know existed. This man who chose love over power, family over legacy, life over death. Yes, she says. Do-hyun blinks. Yes? Yes, I'll marry you. She laughs through tears. Did you think I'd refuse? I thought you'd need time to. She kisses him, right there in the park, with morning joggers passing by and Noah shouting in the distance. Kisses him like she's sealing a promise. When they break apart, Do-hyun's eyes are wet. Thank you for seeing me, for believing I could be better. Thank you for trying. She wipes his tears with her thumb. That's all anyone can ask. Noah runs back to them, breathless and grinning. Daddy, can we get ice cream? It's 10 in the morning, Do-hyun says automatically. So? Amara and Do-hyun exchange glances, then together. Ice cream it is. They walk to the nearby shop, order cones, sit on a bench in the sunshine. And for the first time in 32 years, Kang Do-hyun feels whole. Not because he's powerful, not because he's wealthy or feared or respected, but because he's loved, because he has a son who trusts him, a woman who believes in him, a future built on grace instead of violence, a future that looks like this: sticky fingers and melting ice cream and laughter in the park. It's messy. It's imperfect. It's everything he never knew he needed. That evening, after Noah's asleep, Amara and Do-hyun sit on their tiny balcony. The city glows below, alive with possibility. Do you ever miss it? Amara asks. The power? Do-hyun considers. Sometimes, when things get complicated, when people question my decisions. He pauses. But then I come home, see Noah's drawings, hear you humming, and I remember what actually matters. What's that? This. Us. He pulls her close. I spent 32 years thinking love was weakness, that caring made you vulnerable, and it does. Love is terrifying, but it's also the most motivational force I've ever known. Because I'm not fighting for abstract things anymore. Territory, reputation, wealth. I'm fighting for you, for Noah, for this family we're building. Amara rests her head on his shoulder. You've come so far. We've come far. Together. He kisses her hair. I couldn't have done this alone. They sit in comfortable silence, watching the lights. Somewhere in Seoul, the Kang family continues its transformation. Imperfect, incomplete, but moving towards something cleaner, something that doesn't leave bodies in its wake. Do-hyun's still involved, still making decisions, negotiating deals, managing the transition. But now he comes home at night, reads bedtime stories, helps with homework. He's learning what it means to be fully human again, and it's harder than running an empire, but infinitely more worthwhile. 2 years later, Noah is 8 now, taller by several inches, though he's still small for his age. Genetics and early malnutrition, the pediatrician explained, but he's healthy now, thriving, more confident, still thoughtful, still prone to those moments of old soul seriousness, but with genuine lightness in his eyes. With joy. The birthmark on his neck is just a birthmark now. Not a curse, not a brand, not a target painted on his skin. Just a part of who he is. Like his crooked smile, or the way he chews his bottom lip when he's concentrating. Sometimes other kids ask about it. He tells them it's a dragon, his personal dragon. And they think that's cool. He attends a good school now, private, but not pretentious. One that values creativity and critical thinking over rote memorization. Has friends. Real friends. Boys and girls who come over for play dates and birthday parties. Plays soccer on weekends with the kind of enthusiasm that leaves him muddy and exhausted and beaming. Draws pictures of dragons that protect people instead of threatening them, and his art teacher says he has real talent. Maybe he'll be an artist, maybe a veterinarian. He loves animals with fierce devotion, maybe something they haven't even imagined yet. The future is open, bright, full of possibilities. Do-hyun and Amara married a year ago. Simple ceremony at a small chapel. Just close friends and chosen family. Ms. Park cried through the entire thing. Min-jae served as best man, gruff and uncomfortable in his tuxedo, but fiercely protective of their happiness. Noah was the ring bearer, so serious about his responsibility that he practiced walking down the aisle for a week beforehand. Perfect in its intimacy, in its honest emotion. Amara graduated with her nursing degree 6 months after the wedding, top 15% of her class. Works at a community clinic in the same neighborhood where she found Noah, the same streets that brought them together. She helps people who fall through the cracks, who need care but lack resources or insurance or documentation, who've learned that asking for help often means putting yourself at risk of deportation or arrest or worse. She's exactly where she's supposed to be, doing exactly what she was meant to do. Do-hyun funds the clinic quietly, anonymously, through a charitable foundation that bears his mother's name. Because some habits are worth keeping, taking care of people. Building instead of destroying. Creating something that matters. The Kang family is different now. Smaller, cleaner, still powerful, still influential. But the power comes from legitimate sources. From businesses that create jobs instead of destroying lives. From investments that build communities instead of bleeding them dry. Some of the old guard resents the changes. Others have embraced it, relieved to operate without constantly looking over their shoulders for police or rival organizations. It's not perfect. There are still complications, still dangers. Old enemies who haven't forgotten. Business rivals who see the family's transformation as weakness. but they navigate it together now. Do-hyun doesn't make decisions in isolation anymore, doesn't carry every burden alone. Tonight, they're having dinner together at their apartment, all three of them, plus Ms. Park and Min Jae, who's become Noah's favorite uncle. The man teaches him chess and self-defense moves and tells heavily edited stories about Do-hyun's childhood that make Noah laugh until his sides hurt. The table's crowded, loud, full of laughter and overlapping conversations, and someone always talking with their mouth full. Miss Park fusses about proper table manners while breaking every rule herself. Min Jae argues with Do-hyun about soccer teams with the passion of lifelong rivals. Noah bounces between conversations, soaking it all up like sunlight. It's chaotic in the best way. It's family. After dinner, after Ms. Park and Min Jae have left with doggy bags and promises to visit next week. Noah climbs into Do-hyun's lap for their evening ritual. He's getting too big for this, legs dangling awkwardly, but neither of them seems ready to give it up. "Daddy?" Noah's voice is quiet, thoughtful. "Do you ever think about before Mama found me?" Do-hyun's chest tightens. He shares a glance with Amara, who's watching from the kitchen with understanding in her eyes. "Sometimes. Why, buddy?" "I think about it too. Being lost. Being scared. Not knowing if anyone would help." Noah looks up at him with those serious, too wise eyes that still occasionally break Do-hyun's heart. "But then I remember, I'm not lost anymore. I'm home. And home isn't a place. It's people. It's you and Mama. It's being loved." Do-hyun hugs him tighter, blinking back tears that come easier now, that he's learned not to be ashamed of. "Yeah, buddy. You're home. We all are. And I promise, I will spend every day of my life making sure you know you're safe. You're loved. You're exactly where you belong." "I know." Noah says it with simple certainty, the kind of trust that Do-hyun spent 32 years believing he didn't deserve. "I love you, Daddy." "I love you too, Noah. So much." Across the small living room, Amara watches them. Her family, built from brokenness, forged from impossible choices and brave hearts. From a moment on a rainy night when she could have walked away, but chose to stay. She thinks about that night 2 years ago. The boy standing in the rain, small and scared and alone. The decision to help instead of protect herself. The choice that changed everything. And she knows, with absolute, unshakable certainty, that it was the best decision she ever made. Not because it was easy. It wasn't. Not because it made sense. It didn't. Not because it was safe. God knows it was the opposite of safe. But because love rarely makes sense. Love rarely comes with guarantees or safety nets or clear instructions. Sometimes, the most motivational, inspirational thing you can do is choose to care. Even when it's hard. Even when it's dangerous. Even when every rational voice in your head screams to protect yourself first, to think of your own survival, to walk away from complications. You choose to care anyway. You choose love anyway. You reach out your hand in the darkness and trust that someone will take it. And love, it turns out, chooses you right back, transforms you, heals you, makes you brave enough to become who you were always meant to be. The camera pulls back slowly, gently. The apartment growing smaller in the frame. The city beyond the windows. The lights twinkling like promises scattered across the darkness. A family, together at last. Laughing, living, loving. The mafia boss who learned gentleness, who discovered that real strength isn't domination, but vulnerability. The brave woman who taught him who proved that courage isn't fearlessness, but choosing love despite the fear. The child who made it all possible, who showed them both what matters most. This is their romance, their story, their hard-won, imperfect, beautiful, happy ending. Not perfect. Life never is. There will be challenges ahead, complications they can't foresee, but they'll face them together. This family built by choice rather than blood. Not easy. The best things never are, but worth every sacrifice, every risk, every terrifying leap of faith. Real, messy, honest, true. And in the end, when all the noise fades and all that's left is truth, that's what matters most. Not power, not wealth, not control or safety or certainty. Just this: love, family, home. Just this: three people who found each other in the darkness and chose to become light. A family, together at last, laughing, living, loving. The mafia boss who learned gentleness, the brave woman who taught him, the child who made it all possible. This is their romance, their happy ending, not perfect, not easy, but real. And in the end, that's what matters most. If this story moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit that like button, subscribe for more stories about love that transforms, and tell me in the comments, what would you risk everything for? Because sometimes the bravest thing we can do is choose love over safety. Thank you for spending this hour with me. Until next time, may your heart stay brave and your love stay true.